I heard my professor in college once say that the most dangerous lie is the one that's closest to the truth. I have thought about that statement so much, and no more so than right now in our current cultural context. Let me tell you what I mean. In that class, what we were discussing was Friedrich Nietzsche and his book, Thus Spoke Zarathustra, and his idea of this Ubermensch, the superhuman. And our discussion was around how ideas that sound noble can evolve into something extremely dangerous when taken too far. Case in point, the Nazi regime. And I think about that statement a lot today because of AI. Now, before we dive in, let me be very, very clear. I'm not against AI at all. I actually used it to help me write this very script. I'm not the strongest writer. I am more of a stream of consciousness type person. I can speak it out better than I can write it. So I delivered to AI my messy first draft, and it helped me shape and clean up what I was trying to say. It's a tool, and in this case, it really helped me be clear and take my thoughts and bring them together. But that's the point, right? Like, AI is just a tool. It's like a table saw. The saw itself isn't a threat, but how it's used can determine whether or not it builds something beautiful or delivers potentially life-threatening, irreparable harm. That doesn't mean that the saw itself is bad. It simply requires wisdom, guidance, and respect to be used appropriately. I wouldn't send my 7 and 8-year-old son down into my wood shop to start working with the table saw. They're not ready. Instead, I'm building up towards that, and I'm teaching them how to use tools so that one day I can be like, all right, let's create something together. The real danger of AI, it really isn't just job loss. It's more of a moral and philosophical potential for erosion. The line between what's true and what only sounds true is becoming harder to see. And the scariest place for this is within media. There's always that line that we're living in, that gray area as a creator. But AI can generate something that looks so real and sounds so credible and feels so authentic, and yet it can still be false. So to go back to what we said, that statement from my professor, Dr. Horner in college, the most dangerous lie is the one that looks just like the truth. So if we're not grounded in truth, if we stop asking hard questions, if we don't slow down enough to pay attention, we're standing on a hillside in a rainstorm. And it's only a matter of time before that whole thing gives way. So what do we do? How do we navigate this landscape where we're gonna be using AI, marketing, copywriting, building out grant proposals, thinking through strategic planning for the coming years? We're using it all over the place. On almost every edit, it's embedded into the work that I'm doing. But what do we do? How do we face this? Well, I have one idea, and it should not come as a surprise. But we tell stories. Because in a world flooded with synthetic content and polished messaging, real stories are absolutely going to cut through.
At that time, I had 18 months out total since I was 9 years old.
God, why are you doing this to me? Do I deserve this? What did I do, to make you mad? Like, why are you treating me this way?
I would really tell little Bernie, you're going to have some things happen to you that don't make sense. You're going to have some things happen to you that are going to affect you for life.
I was leading myself to my own grave with exotic dancing, escorting, cartel, being trafficked, meth labs, meth busts, abuse, jail.
I was a person who never wanted to leave a single day or hour. I was miserable, and I always thought something is wrong with me. I was running after any opportunity to end my life.
At the end of the day, people don't connect with numbers, right? They connect with people. And storytelling is how we bridge that gap. It doesn't mean that we can't use AI within it. It's just simply that a well-told story from a personal experience is one person saying, here's what happened to me. Here's how this organization changed my life. Man, when I hear that, I'm not looking to see if it was written by AI. I'm not checking citations. I'm leaning in, connecting, especially when it comes to documentary filmmaking. So if you want to show the impact of your work, don't just describe the outcomes, right? Tell the story of the person who experiences those outcomes. You know, AI can help us generate reports. It can even help drive and shape some of our creativity, but it can't tell a single person's story through the lens of their human experience. Because in this new era, where truth and lies live closer than ever before, your story might just be the thing that makes someone care enough to take action, right? Maybe ask yourself this: what story are we telling? And who needs to hear it? See you next time.